Hi all, my name is Delmo. I'm one of the authors of this paper, and thank you for your time. My goal here is to give a summary of our study, so maybe you can join our session later and hopefully read the full paper sometime. Again, thank you for your time, and I'll try to make sure it's worth it. So let me come back to this screen. And yeah, I would like to start with an introduction. So there is already an extensive body of research demonstrating the potential of immersive technologies to support learning experiences in K-12 education. However, their presence in those settings do not necessarily fit with current expectations of how students can use digital technologies as authoring tools to express their hypotheses and ideas. In the context of XR technologies, that would mean not only using ready-made applications, but also creating digital artifacts with them. And well, we have an hypothesis. We believe the projects created by K-12 students in science fairs in Brazil can provide concrete examples of immersive technologies being developed to support scientific inquiry and solve real-world problems. In building on those examples, we investigate how K-12 students apply AR and VR technologies as tools for designing experiments and solutions, the motivations and influences of using AR and VR as authoring tools. The investigation encompasses two studies. Study one is an analysis of projects submitted to the largest science fair in Brazil among 6 years, and study two is a survey research with team members of the project in study one. And what is the science fair we are talking about? Its name is FEBRACE, which in Portuguese means Brazilian Science and Engineer Fair. Uh, and is a science program that holds the largest nationwide science fair in Brazil that started in 2003. Students and teachers from more than 1,200 cities in Brazil from all states have already joined FEBRACE with an average of 2,300 projects submitted per year between 2015 and 2020. And in order to join the annual fair, students submit the science and engineering projects for evaluation by a judging committee. Each submission includes a paper or report and a 5-minute video presentation. Once selected, students present a project in a synchronous event and undergo an additional round of evaluation and feedback. Outstanding projects are then selected to join ISEF, the International Science and Engineering Fair. Our research question in study one was, what do K-12 students do when they build science and engineering projects with AR and VR tools? To answer it, we went through 2,041 projects from 2015 to 2020 in a process similar to a literature review. And by analyzing the title, keywords, and abstracts of those projects, we identified 12 of them that clearly use the AR and or VR as parts of their solutions. In our paper, we provide a summary of those projects, but we also made this information available in an online repository that you are also free to look at. Among our findings from study one, I would have emphasized here the projects surrounded two main areas, using AR and VR to facilitate the learning of specific concepts, particularly from STEM fields, and applying AR and VR to advance research and practice in healthcare. In addition, we identified different types of software and hardware related to AR and VR using those projects. More specific, Unity and Blender were the most common software used on those projects, even though they usually require advanced computing knowledge. And among the hardware, the predominance of smartphones indicate the potential to make AR and VR technologies more accessible to K-12 students. In study two, we investigated what are the motivations, requirements, and challenges for using XR or VR and AR technologies as an authoring tool for learning. We designed a questionnaire with 11 Likert scale and 8 open-ended questions and invited participants from the projects that we identified in study one to answer the online survey. Although we had a small number of responses, there are some preliminary findings that we believe are worth sharing. For example, there was a strong consensus around the importance of having tutorials to develop the projects. And also we noticed that the students' motivations for using AR and VR included that those technologies support making abstract ideas visible. And finally, participants pointed out to a variety of challenges during the design process, such as finding free resources available, learning how to use complex tools like Unity, and making sure that the creations were based on the correct representation of scientific ideas. We could expand our findings by connecting results from study 1 and study 2, and as you can see in more detail in the general discussion section. For example, preliminary findings, particularly students struggled with programming and modeling environments, suggest an opportunity to design more accessible entry points to create with extended reality technologies. And also different topics chosen by students in their projects together with reports of keeping working with those projects after the science fair are aligned with the literature and bring examples of learning transfer from creating with XR in K-12 education to different fields. And we also have some limitations in our work. One of them is that the specific context in which the study was conducted, since science fairs do not necessarily represent the aspects of a regular K-12 setting. But nevertheless, we are sure that this study contributes to the field of AR and VR in K-12 education by providing concrete examples of how students have been using those technologies as authoring tools to their science and engineering projects. Although specific, we do believe it can inform future research and practice on how to promote a different role for students when they interact with immersive technologies, from users to creators. Thank you for your time.